You ever get that feeling like you're just drowning in research papers and articles and you just wish someone would tell you what's actually important?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's kind of what we're doing today. We're doing a deep dive on a paper all about making AI more trustworthy, especially when it comes to AI systems that answer questions.
Yeah.
So you've probably heard of large language models.
LLMs.
Yeah, those LMs that power things like, Chat GPT.
Right.
They're incredibly powerful, but they can also be a bit unpredictable, like a black box, right?
Yeah, yeah. You ask a question, you get an answer, but how did it get there?
Yeah,
And can you be sure it's actually correct?
exactly. And sometimes they even just make stuff up. Researchers call that hallucinating.
Yes.
Not exactly what you want if you're asking for directions or you're trying to make an important decision based on, accurate information.
Right.
So this research paper is all about a new system called ProSLM.
Okay.
And it's aiming to solve that problem and make AI answers more reliable.
Interesting. So what's the basic idea behind ProSLM? What makes it different?
Well, it's really innovative because it combines the creative power of LLMs with a more structured, logical system.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's like having a brainstorming session with a free-spirited artist and like a meticulous logician all in one.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks. So how does this actually work? I mean, how is it different from just using a regular LLM?
All right. So imagine you're asking an AI about something specific. Let's say navigating a university campus.
Okay.
ProSLM doesn't just pull random facts from the internet. It uses a specialized knowledge base tailored to that specific domain, so in this case, all about the university campus.
Okay.
This knowledge base is packed with information about buildings, locations, schedules, even things like real-time weather data.
So it's like having an AI that actually knows the place, not just generic info?
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Let's say you ask, is the pool busy? A regular LLM might just give you a yes or no. But ProSLM can tap into its knowledge base and give you a much more insightful answer.
Okay.
It might say something like, considering it's a sunny Monday at 11 a.m. and the pool is outdoors, it's likely to be crowded. It can even factor in things like whether it's a holiday or if there's a swim meet scheduled.
Wow, so it's not just giving you an answer, it's explaining the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
And that's one of the key features of ProSLM, what researchers call explainable context gathering.
Uh,
You're not just taking the AI's word for it, you can see the logic it used to arrive at that conclusion.
Hmm.
And this transparency is essential for building trust in AI systems.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're going to rely on AI for information, you want to know it's not just making stuff up.
Right.
But how does it know the information it's using is accurate in the first place?
Right. That's where the second key feature comes in, fact validation. ProSLM doesn't just blindly accept information from the LLM. It cross-checks everything against its trusted knowledge base.
Okay.
The researchers use a great example in the paper where they ask, how many dining halls does UC Santa Cruz have? The LLM might give an answer and even list the names, but ProSLM goes a step further. It verifies the number of dining halls and then actually checks if each named dining hall exists in its knowledge base.
So it's like having a built-in fact checker.
Absolutely. And that's what makes ProSLM so exciting. It's not just about getting answers, it's about getting answers you can trust. It showcases how we can leverage the power of LLMs while mitigating their weaknesses, creating an AI that's both intelligent and dependable.
So you've explained how ProSLM works in theory, but can you walk us through some specific examples from the paper?
Of course, let's dive into a few scenarios to illustrate just how powerful and personalized this system can be.
Let's do it. I'm ready to see what this AI can do.
Okay, imagine you're a student at UC Santa Cruz, and you ask ProSLM, where can I study? Now, a generic LLM might just spout out a list of typical study spots like libraries or cafes.
But ProSLM is smarter than that, right? It uses that specialized knowledge base we talked about.
Exactly. It considers that you're a student at UC Santa Cruz, and it knows that McHenry Library is a popular spot for students because it offers quiet study areas and reliable Wi-Fi. So instead of just giving you a generic answer, it provides a recommendation tailored to your specific context.
That's impressive. So it's like having an AI that understands your needs and your environment.
Right.
So what other types of questions could you ask it?
Let's say you ask, can I drop classes? A typical LLM might give you a vague answer about deadlines and policies, but ProSLM goes deeper.
I bet it checks the academic calendar in its knowledge base.
You got it. It sees that it's currently January, and it tells you, yes, you can drop classes, but the deadline for this quarter is January 29th. It might even go a step further and tell you what happens after that date, like needing to file a petition. It's not just answering your question, it's anticipating what other information you might need.
It's almost like having a personal assistant that knows the ins and outs of university life.
Right.
Do you have any more examples?
Let's say you ask, where should I dine today? Now, this is where things get even more personalized. A standard LLM might list popular restaurants, but ProSLM knows better.
I'm intrigued. What does it recommend?
It might say something like, you should dine at Stevenson College. It offers a variety of dining options, including a dining hall, cafe, and market. But it doesn't stop there. It knows from your past interactions that you love Thai food, and it knows that Stevenson serves Thai food on Mondays for lunch. So it factors in your preferences and even real-time information like the day of the week to give you a truly personalized suggestion.
That's amazing. It's like having a friend who knows your tastes and can give you spot-on recommendations.
And that's the beauty of ProSLM. It takes the incredible capabilities of LLMs and adds this layer of explainability, fact-checking, and personalization, making it a much more trustworthy and useful tool.
All of this sounds incredibly promising, but I'm sure there are some limitations to the system, right? It can't be perfect.
Well, you're absolutely right. While ProSLM offers some incredible advantages, the researchers do acknowledge some limitations in the paper.
Okay.
Like, for instance, that knowledge base we keep talking about.
Right.
It's extensive, but it can't possibly contain every single piece of information.
Right.
And if it's missing something, that could lead to inaccurate answers.
That makes sense. It's like if you asked your super smart friend for advice, but they just happen to not know a crucial detail about the situation.
Exactly.
So what's the solution? How do you make sure that the knowledge base stays up to date and comprehensive?
Well, the researchers have a really intriguing idea.
Hmm.
User interaction. Imagine being able to tell ProSLM in natural language,
Yeah.
no complicated coding required, hey, you know that new cafe that opened on campus?
Mm-hmm.
Add that to your knowledge base.
That's a brilliant idea. It's like we become partners with the AI, helping it learn and grow, so it makes the system much more adaptable and personalized.
Exactly. And that brings us to another limitation they address in the paper. Right now, ProSLM's reasoning process is kind of hidden behind the scenes. It works by building these goal trees, which are basically maps of the logical steps it takes to reach an answer.
So we know it's thinking logically, but we can't see the gears turning, so to speak.
Right. But the researchers propose creating a user-friendly way to visualize these goal trees. Imagine being able to actually see how ProSLM connects the dots, how it uses the information in its knowledge base to arrive at a conclusion.
That would be incredible. It would really demystify the AI and make it much easier to understand and trust its answers. You know, this whole conversation makes me think about the bigger picture here. We hear so much about AI making decisions for us, but how often do we actually stop and ask why those decisions are being made?
That's such an important point, and it's something the researchers touch on in the paper as well.
Okay.
They highlight how LLMs are being used for increasingly important decisions. Medical diagnoses, financial investments, even things like legal advice.
Wow.
The stakes are getting higher, and the need for transparency becomes absolutely crucial.
It almost feels like a moral obligation, doesn't it? If AI is going to impact our lives in such profound ways, we deserve to know how it's working and why it's making the choices it does.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
And that's where systems like ProSLM offer a glimpse into the future of AI.
Yeah, okay.
A future where explainability isn't just a nice to have, it's built into the very core of how these systems operate. A future where we can question, understand, and ultimately trust the AI we interact with.
Earlier, you mentioned the example of ProSLM fact-checking the number of dining halls at UC Santa Cruz.
Right.
Can you walk us through exactly how that works?
Absolutely. Remember how the LLM response stated that UC Santa Cruz has 3 dining halls and even listed their names?
Yeah, it sounded plausible enough on the surface.
Exactly. But ProSLM doesn't take anything at face value. It breaks down that response into individual facts.
Okay.
So first, it checks. Is there a fact in my knowledge base stating that the number of dining halls is 3?
And what does it find?
Well, that fact turns out to be false. There are actually more than 3 dining halls.
Okay.
Then, ProSLM goes through each of the dining hall names listed, checking if they actually exist.
Okay.
College 910 Dining Hall, check, it's in the knowledge base.
Uh-huh.
Crown Merrill Dining Hall, check, that one's there too. But when it gets to Cal Stevenson Dining Hall,
It hits a snag. Those are actually 2 separate dining halls, right?
you got it. That's how ProSLM catches the LLM's hallucination. It doesn't just accept the answer blindly. It meticulously compares each piece of information to its own verified knowledge base.
So ProSLM doesn't just tell you an answer, it shows you its work.
Exactly.
That's incredibly valuable, especially when you consider how much we rely on AI for accurate information. It's like having a safety net that catches those AI slip-ups before they can cause any problems.
Exactly. And this actually highlights another really important aspect of ProSLM, its potential for personalization. Remember how we talked about users being able to update the knowledge base?
Yeah, that was one of the things that really impressed me. It makes the AI feel much more collaborative and adaptable.
Imagine taking that a step further. The paper discusses how each user could potentially have their own personalized local knowledge base.
Okay.
It could be constantly updated with their preferences, new facts they learn, even personal experiences.
So the AI becomes like a trusted companion, constantly learning and evolving alongside you.
Precisely. It could remember your favorite study spots, your dietary restrictions, your class schedule, and then use all that information to give you truly tailored recommendations and assistance.
That's incredible. It takes us way beyond the one-size-fits-all approach of a lot of current AI systems. It's like having a custom-made AI assistant that understands you better than you understand yourself.
And that level of personalization has the potential to revolutionize how we use and interact with AI.
Wow.
Imagine a world where AI helps us navigate complex situations, make informed decisions, and even discover new knowledge, all while being completely transparent and trustworthy.
It sounds almost utopian, but realistically, how far away are we from that kind of future?
Well, systems like ProSLM are still in their early stages, and there are definitely challenges to overcome.
Sure.
Building these comprehensive and reliable knowledge bases is a massive undertaking, and ensuring user updates are accurate and unbiased is crucial. But the potential is undeniable.
It's definitely something to be excited about. It feels like we're on the verge of a new era of AI, one where explainability and trustworthiness are non-negotiable.
Absolutely. And this research is a significant step in that direction. It shows that we can harness the power of LLMs while addressing their limitations,
Hmm.
creating AI systems that are not only intelligent, but also understandable and accountable.
It's like we're finally starting to bridge that gap between the mysterious black box of AI and the human need for meaning and transparency.
And that's a bridge worth building.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I can't help but wonder, what does the future hold for explainable AI?
Yeah.
Will systems like ProSLM become the norm, seamlessly integrated into our daily lives?
It's a question worth pondering. While we can't predict the future with certainty, the growing demand for trustworthy and explainable AI is undeniable. As AI plays an even bigger role in our lives, understanding how it makes decisions will be crucial.
So it's not just a technological challenge, it's a societal one. We need to figure out how to build AI that people can truly trust and rely on.
Exactly. And I think research like this, with its focus on transparency and user interaction, is leading us in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's showing us that we can create AI systems that are both powerful and comprehensible.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. It really feels like we're at a turning point in how we think about AI. Explainability is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity.
Yeah, and the implications extend far beyond just getting accurate answers. Imagine a world where AI can help us solve complex problems not just by giving us solutions, but by explaining the reasoning behind them. Think about how that could revolutionize fields like medicine, education, even scientific research.
It's like AI becomes a true collaborator, not just a tool. We can learn from its insights, understand its logic, and work together to solve some of the world's biggest challenges.
Precisely. And for our listeners, we encourage you to think about the role of AI in your own life. As you encounter AI systems, don't be afraid to ask questions. Demand transparency. The future of AI is being shaped right now, and by engaging in these conversations, we can help steer it towards a future that benefits all of humanity.
That's a powerful message to end on. The more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be to harness its potential and ensure it's used ethically and responsibly.
It's been a pleasure diving into this research with you. Hopefully our listeners are walking away with a newfound appreciation for the importance of explainable AI.
And if you're interested in learning more about ProSLM and the fascinating world of trustworthy AI, we'll be sure to include links to the research paper and other resources in the show notes.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the ever-evolving landscape of artificial intelligence.
And remember, the future of AI is in our hands. Let's make it a future we can all be proud of.